Welcome back to the channel. Doing a reaction to the Nine Trey Bloods, how a debt and an internal gang war led to 5 people meeting their demise. That's that's the kind of thing right there, man. Nowadays in this gangs, these young cats don't respect the elders or the OGs, cause they feel like might is right, which is the penitentiary mentality. So whatever people call at the top, if they ain't trying to hear, they trying to go get some stripes and earn their rank or whatever. So anytime it's like that, man, people don't fall and stay in their lines. No discipline is exuded. Man, you're gonna have bedlam, man. It's gonna and everybody's psychos. I mean, it's easy to be a pack of wolves when what I'm saying. You just like competing with the next cat to get your stripes and all that, earn your notches in your gun handle. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna always be bedlam, man. That's why this gang shit is not made for New York, not made for North Carolina. It's not made for none of these places, man, but from where it originated from. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it.
4 gang members are accused of 5 murders and 5 attempted murders in Hampton Roads last December. Court records say the 4 men, Antonio Simmons, Anthony Foy, Nathaniel Mitchell, and Alvon Davis, are responsible for 5 attempted in Portsmouth and Norfolk. Investigators believe the men are part of the Nine Trey gangsters, part of the United Blood Nation. It's a conflict between 2 local sets of the gang that prosecutors believe sparked the violence.
In the span of just 17 days, from the second week of December 2015 straight through to the days after Christmas, 5 people met their demise and 4 more were shot across the cities of Southampton Roads, Virginia, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk. Almost none of the victims had anything to do with the gang. A grandmother, 2.
See, that's what's bad, really bad, man. It's sad about this right here. Almost all of the victims had nothing to do with the gang. And when I banged blood, man, it was women and children and non-affiliates was off limits. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was snitching and somebody trying to hush you from that, okay. But just because me and another homie have issues and we supposed to be gangster, we can't meet somewhere and handle this shit, you know what I'm saying, how gangsters do, with the hands, with the guns, with the knives, whatever, and you just gonna go shoot my mom, grandma, yeah, that's a real coward shit to me. That ain't no gangster shit.
2 mothers of young children, a woman walking home from her shift at the airport, people whose only mistake was opening a door or standing on the wrong side of a street. Behind it all was a single set of one of the most violent gangs on the East Coast, the Nine Trey Bloods, and a leader who set the whole thing in motion, not over territory, not over drugs, but to pay off a debt and protect his own reputation. This is the story of how a chain of command, a code of respect, and 2 young men competing to see who could delete the most people turned the 2015 holiday season into a bloodbath. To understand how this spree happened, you have to understand what the Nine Trey gangsters actually were. Founded in 1993, Nine Trey was one of the original East Side sets of the Bloods, affiliated with the larger United Blood Nation. But this wasn't a loose crew of friends. It ran like a military organization. Members were organized into a line, a strict chain of command. At the top of the local line was a man named Antonio Simmons, known on the street as Murdoch and Doc. Simmons held the rank of low, an upper management position, overseeing the daily activity of the members beneath him while running his own narcotics operation. Below him were his shooters. There was Anthony Foy, known as Ace, a 3-star general who looked up to Simmons like a father, and who already had a reputation for, in the words of trial testimony, going around shooting and deleting people for nothing. There was Nathaniel Mitchell, Savage, a 1-star general desperate to climb the ranks and prove he was just as much of a gangster as Foy. There was Alvon Davis, LB.
How are you gangster and you shooting non-combatants? You shooting people that like ducks, man, that can't defend themselves, can't even outrun you, they can't do nothing. Man, ain't no gangster, ain't nothing gangster about that, man. They should delete his ass for doing that dumb shit.
Another general who often drove. And there was Malek Lassider, RICO, Foy's cousin, who hadn't officially joined yet, but was looking to earn his place. By December 2015, Simmons had designated Foy, Mitchell, and Davis as his cleanup crew, his squad of shooters. The pieces were all in place. All it took was a spark.
Murdered 2 men and 3 women, most of whom had no affiliation with that gang or any other. One of the victims was a mother randomly while walking home from her shift at work. The gang's crime spree also included attempted and multiple drug and gun offenses. According to court documents, 2 people were killed during robberies that Simmons ordered his members to commit. Court documents even say Simmons ordered of rival high-ranking gang members who were also part of the Nine Trey gangsters.
2 pressures driving what came next. The first was money. That fall, Simmons and a superior known as Dido had tried to smuggle Mary into a state jail. The deal collapsed, and Dido lost his entire investment money he held Simmons personally responsible for. As punishment, Dido put Simmons on freeze, meaning Simmons' only job within the gang was to fix the problem and pay the debt back. Desperate, Simmons turned to his cleanup crew to go get him cash by any means necessary. The second was ego.
And honestly, being put on freeze until you recover the debt, I mean, that's not a hell of a punishment unless you got ego, unless, you know what I'm saying, it's a problem with your ego and that power consumes you and all that. Because I done had issues with some of my homies where some things got misplaced, mishandled, and funds got fucked up and all that. You know, at one time, you know, when I was impulsive and just angry at the world, my whole thought was just blow them, you know what I'm saying? Poke holes in them. But as I sit there and rationalize, I say, yo, that's my brother, friend, and comrade. Why would I let money come between my bond with my man? As long as my man ain't intentionally do that and he was trying to take me down, take me fast for something like that, yeah, I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just would never give me anything else where he could hurt me with, you know what I'm saying? That would kill some of the trust, but as far as the love, nah, man, I'm not gonna do that. But these dudes is power hungry, man, and that's where a lot of the conflict when I was banging was going down behind shit like this. Nobody don't know how to take orders. They always want to give something, and it was always some like rabid dogs. You know what I'm saying? Let's go spill blood. You know what I'm saying? I got caught up in that too. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it.
Mitchell wanted to climb. He knew the only way up was to put in work, and he wanted to prove himself against Foy, the gang's most feared shooter. By the end of the month, the two of them were openly competing, keeping score of who could shoot the most people. That competition would turn lethal.
Family overwhelmed by grief tonight as a mother promises to get justice for her murdered son. Tariq Tynes disappeared from Portsmouth several weeks ago.
Chesapeake police found his body in a ditch yesterday.
A final conversation before their final hug. Keisha Wilson's son Tariq Tynes disappeared from Portsmouth that day in December. The hope Wilson had that someone would find him safe ended this week. Monday, emergency workers in Chesapeake pulled his body from a ditch.
He didn't have an accident in the car. He didn't have a heart attack. Somebody murdered him. Somebody literally killed him. Does anybody know that Tariq looked out for anybody that he loved, and he showed love?
Tynes' mother surrounded by family, friends, and his fiance, all of them holding on to a new hope that police will find whoever killed the son, brother, and father, dumping him on the side of a roadway.
Going to jail is not enough, you know, but that's all we have now. Just put them in jail and let them do their time.
You ain't got to tell them who you are. Just call. Just give us a lead. Just give us some closure. We got the body, now we need the person.
The first to die was one of their own. Tariq Tynes was a childhood friend of Foy's and a fellow Nine Trey member. But Foy had grown convinced Tynes had become a snitch, and there were rumors Tynes had money worth taking. On the evening of December 10th, Foy was
assumption that he had become a snitch instead of black and white proof. That's why the shit right here ain't not gonna never be but a setup to take everybody down. The feds just licking their chops because they got you ignorant buffoons, man, just in positions of power, man. Can't think your way out of a wet paper bag, man.
Hanging out alone with Tynes. He started texting, "Don't call me, but I need you on deck, bro," he wrote to Davis. To Simmons, who was still on freeze, he wrote that he was, with the meal gang code meaning a target had been marked for violence. Simmons replied with a single word that meant confirmation. When Davis arrived, he found Foy sitting in Tynes' gold Lexus with Tynes dead in the passenger seat, shot in the head. Hours later, at nearly 3, Simmons texted Foy that he needed the money by 11 that morning, or we dead. He later admitted to investigators that the money was meant to repay Dido and lift the freeze.
Vandalay Mercer was gunned down on Deep Creek Boulevard just a few days later.
Still needing cash, Simmons organized a plan on December 14 to rob a gambling house in Norfolk. The robbery fell apart at one point. Foy texted that if Simmons didn't hurry, he'd just get out and red rum somebody a blood code word for delete. The gambling house job never happened. But in the early morning hours, riding through Portsmouth, Foy texted Simmons again about red rum. Simmons replied, "Handle that before 7. Minutes later, Foy told Davis to stop the car. He and Mitchell...
Here's my thing right here, right? You're supposed to be an organization. Say whatever amount of money this was that was mishandled or whatever got, you know what I'm saying, fucked up. How your organization and you got hundreds of Bloods gang members, not 1 or 2 out of 1,000 have some weight or something to front you, to get you on your feet, to, you know what I'm saying, to help you cover your debt, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if y'all brothers and this and that, not one, you want to resort to just randomly shooting people and terrorizing neighborhoods and families and all that, and robbery. But you an OG. You still live at home with your moms. You don't got nothing coming in, but you want to dictate life circumstances for people that's going to cost them their entire life in their teens. Yeah, it's real lame shit to me.
Jumped out and opened fire on 2 people simply walking down the street, Vandalay Mercer and a second victim. Mercer was shot dead. The second person was struck in the hand and survived. At the exact moment that survivor called 911, Foy placed a phone call to Simmons.
Witnesses tell me that the actual shooting happened here in the 1500 block of Lauren Crescent. If you take a look, you can see there's still shattered glass along the ground where I'm told that car was shot at. Now that's when witnesses tell me that the car with the victims in it took off down the street, crashing a block away.
This was like a shocker.
These broken bricks and scattered car parts are all that are left after an early Sunday morning crash. Portsmouth police were called out to the 1400 block of Lauren Crescent near Cavalier Boulevard for an accident. But when officers arrived just after midnight, they found 2 people in a car dead. They were later identified as 49-year-old Wayne Davis and 48-year-old Linda Lassiter. The 2 had been shot to death.
After midnight on December 20th, Foy and Mitchell, Linda Lassiter, and her boyfriend Wayne Davis in Portsmouth. Neither had any connection to the gang. The reason was the gang's code. Foy had heard that someone related to Linda was telling police he'd been involved in shooting up her house weeks earlier, on Thanksgiving. Under Nine Trey's rules, that was a death sentence, and if you couldn't reach the snitch, you reached the closest person to them. That same night, the same getaway car would later be tied by investigators.
When I was wilding out there in the streets, man, my cannons used to go off. I mean, I done lick shots. I done hit a lot of people, touched a lot of people's souls, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I've never done in all my years of being a criminal, I never shot a woman, a kid, or anybody attached to anybody I was beefing with. Didn't do no damage to their cars, none of this shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my man, you know what I'm saying, by any means, but bringing nobody else into that. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. Till the next one. Peace.